I don't arrive. Arrival implies transition, a conscious and physical move from one place to another. This isn't that. I am interrupted mid-thought, mid-breath, and then I was standing on cold stone, the echo of raised voices still hanging in the air as if I'd stepped into the middle of a sentence. A vast chamber stretched around me, high-arched ceilings ribbed with dark beams. Tall windows shuttered against a gray, restless sky. A long table carved from pale stone, its surface etched with symbols softened by time, their edges blurred and indistinct. Banners hung heavy along the walls, their colors darkened and indistinct in the low light. The space felt important, not ceremonial but functional, built for decisions that carried weight. 3 men stood near the table, one older, broad-shouldered, his stance solid and unmoving, as though the room had arranged itself around him rather than the other way around. One younger, tense, standing too straight, hands clenched at his sides like he was holding himself in place, and one slightly apart, dark-haired, still, watching rather than speaking. He carried himself like someone accustomed to being listened to, even when silent. Cold stone pressed up through the soles of my shoes. I became aware of myself in fragments, my heart hammering against my ribs, the unfamiliar lightness of my breathing, my fingers curling instinctively into the fabric of my hoodie like it might anchor me. No one noticed me. At first.
It crossed the border at dusk,
The younger man was saying, his voice tight with something that sounded like fear.
If it's reached the western villages.
It won't.
The words weren't loud. They didn't need to be. The room went still. That was when the third man turned. Long dark hair pulled back from his face. Sharp lines held in careful restraint. Nothing ornamental. Nothing that demanded attention at a glance. And yet, something in my chest tightened hard enough that my breath caught in my throat. I had never seen him before. I was certain of that. I had never been in a castle, never stood in a room like this, never watched men dressed like this argue over borders and threats and kingdoms. And still, something inside me recognized this moment, recognized him. The certainty came first. The explanation lagged behind, slippery and unreachable. Why did the way he stood feel familiar? I searched my memory and found nothing. No face, no name, no moment I could point to and say, "This is where I know you from." Only the unsettling sense that I should know, that the scene unfolding in front of me, this table, these men, the tension thick in the air, was following rules I understood without remembering when I'd learned them. That was the worst part. The familiarity. It made no sense. There was nothing in my life that should have prepared me for this. No castles, no councils, no wars whispered behind closed doors. And yet, my brain reacted as if it had rehearsed this moment, as if I'd been here before. His gaze lifted, locked onto mine. Shock flickered across his expression, before discipline erased it back to something unreadable. For a fraction of a second, neither of us moved. I realized I hadn't taken a breath.
What?
The older man started, his attention finally following the line of the third man's stare. Steel rang as guards reacted on instinct, boots scraping against stone. The younger man swore under his breath.
Hold.
He snapped.
Just hold a moment.
His voice was tight now, strained in a way it hadn't been seconds earlier. I lifted my hands without thinking, palms open, pulse roaring in my ears. I opened my mouth to try to defend myself, but no sound would come out. The third man took a single step closer. The shift wasn't dramatic. It didn't need to be. But you could feel the air change, the kind of pressure that came from someone accustomed to being obeyed without question.
No wards were disturbed.
He said quietly. His eyes never left me.
No gates opened, no summons cast.
That's impossible.
The younger man said, disbelief sharpening his tone.
Nothing crosses into this chamber without
my knowledge.
The third man finished calmly. The older man turned sharply toward him.
Kalen, what is the meaning of this?
The name landed like a physical blow. The pieces slammed together all at once. The setting, the tension, the way the younger man deferred even when he argued, the way the guards hesitated, waiting not for the king's command, but his. Kalen, High Warden, the king's most dangerous advisor. My breath hitched, because with that recognition came a certainty I couldn't yet name, only feel, heavy and unavoidable. And worse, I knew how this ended. I swallowed, pressing my tongue to the roof of my mouth, grounding myself in the sharp, ordinary sensations of my own body before the room could tilt any further. Because, standing there, under that gaze, in a place that suddenly made terrifying sense, one thought cut through the noise in my head with brutal clarity. This wasn't the beginning. This was the moment right before everything started going wrong.